Hi, my name is Sonny Vanderpoy, and I am from West Africa Times channel and West Africa Times Inc., publishers of West Africa Times newspaper, The Nigerian, and The Talking Drums. I came to this country in 1997 with the intentions of staying for 4 or 5 years, then going back to my native country, Ghana. But as we speak, I'm here 25 years, moving on to 26 years. And why am I saying this? I'm saying this because up until last year, I was not really interested in any form of election except presidential. But I've come to accept the fact that this is home. We always say that we're going home very soon, but the soon never happens. So sometime last year, I decided to help candidates who are contesting for any seat in our African community to see whether they can get enough votes, either the county level, school boards, or anything or anywhere that decisions are made that affect our lives. So today, I am fortunate to have with me Mr. Josh King. And I will allow Mr. King to introduce himself and tell us why we're here, what this is all about. Mr. Josh King, thank you so much. And first of all, who are you?
First, I want to say thanks for having me here. I'm just honored to be here. And I just want to tell you guys a little bit about myself. My name is Josh King. I'm a U.S. Army veteran. I did a couple of tours in Iraq, OF 1 and 3. I was in military police. And currently, I'm a deputy sheriff. And I've been a deputy sheriff for about 15, going on 16 years. I am also in a union, so I'm a proud labor family. I'm also married to a delegate. Her name is Candy King. She represents Woodbridge and Stafford. And we have 3 lovely children who go to public schools here in Prince William County. And I am running to be the next sheriff of Prince William County, which includes the towns of Dumfries, Occoquan, Haymarket, Manassas Park.
Thank you. And so before we go any further, we all know who a sheriff is by sight, and we know some of the duties of the sheriff. Can you tell us exactly what the sheriff's role when it comes to the county?
It's funny, I get that question a lot because the sheriff job depends on the county. Certain counties, the sheriff and the police are the same thing. They do the same job, which, writing tickets and do all the police duties. But in Prince William County, there's 2 differences between the police and the sheriff. So let's start by the difference between the police chief and the sheriff. The police chief is selected by the county board of supervisors, selected. This is important because the sheriff is elected by the people. So as I say that because the sheriff works for the people, and the police chief works for the county. It's a big difference. As far as duties are concerned, in Prince William County, the sheriff's office works in the courts. So you will see a deputy with a judge, or what we call a bailiff. Yes. The other duties, what we call civil process. This is when they hand summonses out to people. They do liens, they do evictions, and they partner with the police with those. So those are kind of the duties that the sheriff does here. The police, they write the tickets, and the best way I can explain it to you is the police catch them and they bring them to us. And then we work with the adult detention center, or also known as the jail, and when they come to us, then we send them to the jail. So in other counties, like Fairfax County, the deputy sheriffs also run the jail. But in Prince William County, the sheriffs just do the court and civil process.
Okay, thank you so much. And so my question is, okay, why do you want to become a sheriff?
So there has been a lot of talk about criminal justice reform, about changing the face of police. And some of the issues that are happening now have been happening for years. And I have an opportunity to represent my community and to go out there and be the change I want to see. All the deputies that work for the sheriff cannot affect the change. The change comes from the top. So you have to be in the leadership role to make the changes that are needed. The current sheriff that's been there for 20 years unopposed, making me the first Democrat to run against him in 20 years. And I believe that I have the skills and expertise to take us to the next generation, because we need officers who are going to be here for the next 20 years, not just the next year or so, because it's a career job, and I'm ready to hire the next generation of officers and to start the new policing, because policing has changed from when I started 16 years ago, or even when the sheriff started 20 years ago. It's totally different now. We do different things, and it's time to move forward into the future.
Thank you. So, Mr. Josh King, tell me, why should Ghanaians and other Africans in the Washington metro area come out to support you to be the next sheriff? What do you have for us?
Well, I would say that I've gained support. This is not my first time running. I actually ran in 2019. Okay. And during my time in 2019, as I was knocking on doors and talking with local people, I found that there were a lot of people from Africa, people from Sierra Leone, Ghana, Liberia, and I just immersed myself in the culture, going to funerals, weddings, just trying to get to know the people and to ask them what they need, because I know that Black Americans have different issues than Ghanaians. And one issue that many people didn't know, especially immigrants, is that in this county there was a policy made by the current sheriff who sits in there. This policy was called 287G. This policy was written to arrest, detain, and deport immigrants who don't have their papers yet. I found that this program that they made was, to me, illegal and immoral, and I would call it, as we do in America, Jim Crow, a way to separate instead of putting us together. So basically, this program allows officers to, when you're arrested, let's say you were drinking in public, they hold you for 4 hours, they let you go. But with this policy, the sheriff's office could hold you past the 4 hours of your drunkenness, contact ICE, and they can hold you for 72 hours past your time. Now, you have already served your time, and then ICE could be contacted and come and pick you up and deport you. And I said that it was wrong because they made this policy, not a law, a policy. The reason why it's a policy, not a law, because in order for you to detain someone, you need an arrest warrant and a judge to sign it. This policy allowed them to go around that without going to a judge. So even though I lost the race in 2019 by 700 votes, I advocated hard enough for our community that the sheriff is in charge of a jail board, and the board did not vote to keep the policy. So now immigrants are now safe, and I have worked with the county board of supervisors to make Prince William County a more welcoming community. The sheriff is running again this year for a 6th term, and he says he is trying to bring the policy back. So I say all this to say that he says citizens first. It's his motto, the sheriff, and I say families first. His policy is made to break families apart. My policy is to keep us together, and I think that family is important, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I believe that Ghanaians should vote for me and be part of the process. and not ignore the election and come out.
I see. And so, why have you endeared yourself to Ghanaians? Have you been to Ghana before?
Actually, I have some Ghanaian friends. I met a friend of mine through church, actually. Our sons were playing together, and his son would see me every day. Can I come to your house? Can I come to your house? Can I come to your house? Finally, we said yes, and then the relationship began. And as our kids are now 5 years older, they're 10, 11 now. They've grown up together. They're still friends. I made friends with the family who are now my brother, Kamil. But he had a friend of his that was getting married. And he asked me, hey, I'm going to Ghana for a wedding for 10 days. Would you like to come? And of course I said, sure, why not? So I went, and we went to Ghana. We flew into Accra, went to Kumasi, Tema, everywhere. We for 10 days, we were going. He took me all over the country, Aburi, Hills of the Gardens, Royal Senchi, Golden Tulip, Sky Bar, so many things. And you know, the best part about Ghana, as I've never been, the people, no matter if they were rich or poor, they were all so nice. I felt at home. Some people didn't even know I wasn't Ghanaian because I just fit in. And if for one time in my life, I wasn't afraid to walk the streets. We were out in public. We took a flight to Kumasi, took the bus back so I could see the countryside. The food, great food, everything. I mean, it's just so much. I got my 5-year visa, so I'm coming back. But yeah, it was a really good time. The wedding was very nice. Lots of family and friends. He's from there, so I met his whole family. Stayed with them, so I wasn't at a resort or a place. I was in town. I was on the bumpy roads, but you know, it was great. It was a really good experience, and I can't wait to go back.
And so, were you given a Ghanaian name?
Well, yeah. So I knew going there that I knew a name that I saw that really reached out to me, and it was Owusu. And I talked to my friend, and he said, well, what day were you born? And I said, Saturday. So I checked the calendar, it said Saturday. He said, Kwame. And now I'm called Kwame Owusu. So when I work, as a lot of Ghanaians did, and I told them my name, they love it. So now at work, they call me Ko. Kwame Owusu. So it's my name, and it's gonna stay with me for the rest of my life.
Good. Well, thank you so much. I am here with a friend of Josh, and he's Ghanaian, and I want him to tell us in 1 or 2 sentences why we should support his friend. So please introduce yourself and tell us why we should support Josh in the community.
Thank you, Mr. Sonny. My name is Kamil Musa, and Josh is a friend of mine, but to answer your question, I don't want you to vote for him because he's my friend. I don't think Josh is qualified to be the sheriff of Prince William County because he's my friend. I want him to be sheriff because of the kind of person he is that I know. You know, Josh is a very dedicated family man. He loves his community. He volunteers a lot in the community. He is a big advocate for community policing. You know, he always tells me he wants, when kids especially, minority kids see police, they don't panic. They see them as friends. You know, we see police, you want to go to them, approach them, and have a friendly relationship with them. So for me, that is what I would say I like about him wanting to run to become sheriff of Prince William County.
Okay, and you took him to Ghana?
Yes, yeah. Josh, anytime I go to Ghana, Josh tells me, hey, when are we going? So the last time before I went, I gave him like a 6 months notice. I said, hey, Josh, I'll be going in October. So if you want to come, this is it. And he said, let me talk to my boss, which is his wife. Talk to his wife. And I said, okay, I have to go ahead. So let's get a ticket. And so, yeah, we went to Ghana, and I think it was a big eye-opener for him because I remember one of the things he said that I still remember is, man, I've been lied to all my life. because I remember him saying even his mom had reservations about him going to Africa, and he was so excited. Now the mom wants to actually go. She wants to come to Africa too. So yeah, it was an interesting and eye-opening trip. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Kamil.
Yeah.
And yes, Josh King is having a meet and greet on Friday, 24th of February at Eburi Gardens Restaurant in Woodbridge from 6 to 9. So please, let us join him. Let's come in our numbers. Let's come and support him. Let's join him. If you have any questions for him, that is the time to ask him all the questions. So please, I hope to see you all on Friday, February 24th at Eburi Gardens at 6 p.m. Thank you. And thank you so much, George.
Madasi.